Today, I'm bringing you behind the scene of my business, which is also a reflection of how a lot of my clients are building their businesses and where they are heading. And I want you to understand that in this episode, we're going to do two things. I'm going to give you a real look at how a day, a week, even are actually organized inside a business that is not dependent on you at all. But more importantly, I want to go into the decisions behind that, behind how this did happen. Not just what time I wake up, because honestly, who cares? I wanted to give you the context. I want to explain how this actually becomes possible. And then we are going to get into the work. So let's start with the day. Okay, so briefly, because I think it matters a little bit. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about it. We are all up at 5:30. Okay, 5:30. And it's way earlier than what we would all like the three of us, my husband and my 7 years old. But my son's school starts at 6:30 a.m. So that's how it is. We wake up and then I make crepe as a very good French mom that I am. And my son goes to the local school and is the only foreigner, by the way, in this class. He speaks three languages. I'm super proud of him. And everyone is out of the house by 6:15, okay, which is amazing. Then I have 2 hours of deep work before I hit the gym, 2 to 2 hours and a half hours. Go to the gym, or then I practice after that. And yes, like 6:30 to 8:39 is kind of like the best time for my brain, which is crazy, but that's why I want to use this time and not go to the gym first. So I feel like so ready and I do deep work at this time. And then lunch is 2 hours, French. So non-negotiable here. Like we love to cook, we linger, we play games with our boy, we have a swim and all of this stuff. And then he goes to his homeschooling group a little bit in the afternoon. And this is when I also have another couple of hours where I can do like deep work, but more like structure and architecture work for me or for my clients or both, where I review client funnels, build all their resources, but also resources for my mastermind. So all of the things, 2 to 4 hours during the way, like during the afternoon. Then I pick him up at 4 and we go to the beach. And it's 5 minutes from our front door. So that's it. And we spend the evening until 7 watching the sunset, being on the beach. And then we go home, cook dinner. Everyone is asleep. Well, he's asleep at 8. We sleep just after 9. And that's it. I don't work Wednesday. I don't work weekends. Of course, there are exceptions. Sometimes I'm like, oh my God, I have this idea and I want to do it. And, I freaking do it even if it's the weekend. But this is typically how it looks like. So now, here is the question. Okay, the question is actually the one I wanted to focus on today is how is that possible? How is that possible to work 4 days a week? How is that possible that I am not focusing so much on spending 7 hours a day creating content? Because as you can probably see from the front end of my business, I do create a lot of content. But I do repurpose a lot. Okay. I repurpose a lot my ideas. I repurpose a lot because I know what activates my client to buy. But for me to do a couple of hours of work in the morning and then a few hours in the afternoon, like this is possible because not because I work less. That's what I want to say first. Like it's not I work less so I can do less. And it is not because I have some magical morning routine where I wake up at 4 a.m., meditate for half an hour. No. So the answer here is really that part of my business that sell do not require me to be present for them to function. Okay. And I think like that's really important to understand that my business is able to function and to sell without me being there. Okay. So that means that on Wednesday and in the weekend, I'm still able to make sales. Okay. We will see how. Without funnels, by the way, like I'm going to share with you, like not just funnels. Funnels are amazing. And of course, I really encourage you if you are already making sales and have offers to create your funnels. But what I want to share with you today is more than this. And it's because of decisions. Okay. Everything in our business as entrepreneurs, everything is based on a decision. And this is a decision I had to make that I will not be present for all the sales. And some of my mentors, some of my clients are making sales by being there. They're there, they're in their DMs all the time. Okay. All the time, because that's how they're going to make sales. And what happens to me is that do I make sales in the DM? Of course. Do I launch? Of course. Do I create content? Of course. But is that all how I make sales? No. And to me, that really relieved me. That really put less pressure on me to be the one responsible to make sales. Did I want to hire someone to make sales for me and do sales calls? No. Will I never want this in my life? I cannot say. Okay, I'm a woman, I change my mind all the time. So I cannot say that. But I know that right now I do not want to hire someone to make sales for me. So this is why I learned how to make sales. And this is also something that we refine with my clients, like because making sales is done by refining how do we sell. And what I wanted to share with you here is that most people have not made this decision yet. Okay. Not because they don't want to not make sales in the back end, but because nobody has shown them exactly how it works. And they have ideas already. So they think, oh, if I want to make sales in my back end, I need to create a 42 step for now. Or I have to hire someone who is going to lead sales calls for me. Or I have to hire a funnel team that is going to build this funnel for me and then is going to be done. Please never do this, because all of my clients who did this, well, came to me after to fix their funnels because their funnels just sound like a man or a robot, but definitely not like them. So let me show you a little bit more. And what I see is that every sale you have made this year, let's say, or last year also, or in the past, came through you. Okay. And you are very good at that. You are very good at that. And that's why it's so easy for you to go on a live on TikTok and sell your offer. Or you will go maybe and create a launch. You know what kind of micro offer you can create. You create the micro offer and you upsell people into your mastermind, into your 6-month group program, into your one-to-one. But good at selling and having a sales system are two entirely different things. And there is a version of your business that looks super impressive from the outside. And your business is impressive, by the way. It's not just it look impressive, but it is because you have consistent clients and you are signing actually constantly new clients. Okay, you're making great money and your clients, I'm sure they love you. I'm sure they love you. I'm sure that the work that you do is life-changing. And there is also a version of you that only you is seeing, which is that every sale, every single one that you're making required your energy. Okay, required you while you were cooking to answer people in your DMs. Yeah, it required you to think about, okay, so this month I launch, next month I'm going to be onboarding everyone. Okay, so the month after I'm going to launch again. How can I recreate my higher cash month is what I was launching, so let me launch more. And then you would just stay in this loop, right? But only you sees it. Only you sees it, but I do feel that people also see how we run our business. And the business that you are running right now runs on you the same way actually a restaurant runs on its head chef. You know, when you have a good head chef, gosh, the food is exceptional. Yeah. And the chef cannot take a holiday. That's why chefs do not have a lot of holiday, because the food is exceptional when they're here. If they're not here, the food is not exceptional. And so then it's not working. It's the same if you are exceptional at making sales and then you're not there and then there is no more sales. Now, here is exactly what I see in 100% of the spaces I'm in. So I have been in tons of mastermind. I'm currently in 3 mastermind. I also have masterminds with one-to-one. I'm in a lot of spaces. And in 100% of the programs, the mastermind, the spaces I've been in, everyone is living launch to launch. Okay. Everyone is living launch to launch. And I get it. Okay. The launch cycle is very seductive. Okay. Because it works, like I was mentioning. Okay. You know how to create momentum, you build the energy, you open the doors, and then people sign up. Wow, so cool. Or you go on doing a live, you sell your offer on Instagram or on TikTok live, and you make sale. And so the model becomes, I have a brilliant month, and then I have a dead one, and then I have a brilliant month, and then I have a dead one. So you have a brilliant month when you are launching, and then you have a dead one when you're not launching. And This is fine, by the way, if you want to have dead month. However, if this year you want to double what you have made from last year, we need to change the dead month. Okay, the good month, good. If you want to keep it like this. But what happens with the dead month? Can we not have a dead month, but also not add more to your plate? Yes, we can do that. I also see so much anxiety, okay? Anxiety of knowing that they need to do this again, okay? So more money can come in. Which also means if for any reason you could not launch, you would have to launch anyway. It means that, and I see it in all the programs I'm in, and I'm not pointing fingers, by the way. Like if you are in this situation, okay, I have been in this situation too. I'm not saying that it is wrong, but I'm like, you are doing something wrong, like you should not. But I'm saying that, is that really what you want? Is that really how you want to run your business? Because I see women showing the fuck up every single minute of the day, it feels like, while they are grieving. And they're sharing this, the grief, and they're launching. Or they're supporting like a new parent, not that the parent is new, but like a parent who has like a new injury or who is hospitalized or who has a problem. Or they're navigating depression or they're having panic attacks. And they are showing up because they feel the pressure that if they don't show up, they're not going to make any sales. And I have seen women in every one of those situations launching anyway, because the alternative of this is no money. And at this point, I want to say to you, you do have a choice. Okay. You do have a choice to make. And it is not, absolutely not a flex to be able to show up no matter what. Okay. I'm also able to show up no matter what. It's not a flex. I could be having the worst month. And sometimes in the past, I would be like, I will show up. I can show up, let's fake it, dry my eyes, let's move on. The show must go on. And no, I haven't built a business to be like in a prison that I create myself. Now, let me explain what actually makes the difference, because most people imagine that back-end sales, so sales when you are not present, only come from funnels. And some people are like, oh, I only sell in the back end. And for them, that means they sell in the DMs or in sales calls. For me, like I put this in the front end because you just like create content and people like send you DMs. So what I mean is more passive sales, but I almost like, oh, I just want to hide my words when I say the word passive, because I just see it everywhere. People saying, oh, if passive sales did exist, blah, blah, blah. And well, how my clients are making 5 figures a month from passive sales? How is it possible if it doesn't exist? Okay. Passive sales doesn't mean you have a passive business or you are a passive person. It means that you actually have structured your business in a way that is generating sales even when you are not showing up and serving the masses, serving a lot of different people. Having a back-end system doesn't mean that you are passive, but it means that you make sales even when you don't show up. And someone who will tell you, I don't want back-end sales, is the only reason is that they don't know how to do it. Because if I was telling you that you will not have to show up for a month on social media if you didn't want to, and you will still make sales, I think you would want that. Okay, why that? Because sometimes life happens or you want to be on holidays or whatever. And if you did not want to show up on social media, you will not have to. I do not feel like I have to show up on social media. If not, I will not make sales. Okay. I do show up. I know that this amplifies my sales. Okay. So compared if I just had the back end, like it amplifies my sales so I can double what I'm getting like in the middle. But what we want to understand here is that it is not about just being passive or just being active. It's about building a balanced business where whatever is happening in your life, your business can grow with you, not just when you are single and can work 24 hours a day and have nothing else to do with your life. But there are also like different contexts that may help you see that, yeah, sometimes you may want to take 2 weeks off Instagram if you wanted, and you have the safety now knowing that you're going to make sales. So what actually makes a difference is the backend architecture, the structure of your backend. And that this structure is going to do everything that you will do on the front end. So it will do the same as a DM conversation, or what you will clear up with someone in the DM or in a sales call, or when you go on a live, except that it's going to do this without you. So if it's Tuesday, it's 2 a.m., you're obviously not on your social media. So while you are asleep, or even like during the day, imagine during the day, like you're serving your clients, you're having a busy day, you're having calls, you're in your garden reading your book, or you're doing the school run or whatever, you are making sales. And the way it does that is by being ready. So your entire system and your backend being ready for a very specific person who is already in your audience right now. So let's talk a little bit about this specific person, because the reason we are able to make sales with our backend, with our invisible sales system and with funnels, is because we know how to talk to those two different type of people, and especially one. We actually almost only talk to one type of person in our audience. So we have two types in our audience. Okay, we have two types of people in our audience, and we have the interested buyer, someone who is interested, and we have the ready buyer. I'm ready to buy. And you can probably already see who we want to talk to here. Okay, and the difference between them is not who they are. It is not where they are even on their journey. Okay, what is different is they have made already a decision. So on 100% of people in your audience, you have 90% who aren't ready to buy from you. 7% are interested, but they're not ready to buy. And 3% are interested, ready to buy, give it all to me today, now. 3% is enormous, enormous. The interested buyer, okay, thinks that you are great, but she's just not going to buy today. The ready buyer also thinks you are great, and she is going to buy today because she wants to. She already made a journey internally of, I'm ready to invest. Most probably it's not her first rodeo, so even when she's going to look at your pricing, she's not going to like double blink thinking, ooh, what an investment. She probably already invested that in the past, and that's why for her it's going to be fast to invest. Or she was looking already at other people doing the same thing as you, and when she sees your price, it is matching what is on the market. So she's not going to be like, oh my god, I'm not sure. But what she needs, okay, the 3% client who is ready today, is a rabbit hole to suss you out. And if that rabbit hole exists, and I'm going to tell you more about this in a sec, if it exists, she can go from discovering your Instagram to buying from you or applying to your highest ticket offer all in the same day. And I'm saying this because this happens to me all the time and to my clients without you initiating anything. But if she doesn't have this, okay, if she's not able to enter a world where she's able to get everything she needs to make sure that, yes, that's 100%, she's going to just continue scrolling. She's going to continue scrolling your post because that's what is available. So she's going to be on your feed, she's going to scroll your post, and as good as they are, they were never designed to cover every single angle she needs to move from ready to buying instantly. So she's going to perhaps follow you, okay? And she's going to just join the interested pile and disappear back into a scrolling mode. And that is a sale you won't make just because your shop, okay, your front window, your shop is not set up for someone to learn everything about you, your offer, your story, your values, all of this without you being there. And you can look at your feed, and even if you work on having a very balanced feed, probably not have everything on your feed. And can you do without? Yes, I'm just saying that you are losing so much money on the table every single month by not having this installed. And I'm not talking about building a funnel, remember, except if you want to build a 6-hour funnel. Because what we are building, so we have funnels. And so when we build cash flow in the back end, we want to, yes, build automation, we want to build funnels, but we also want to build an invisible sales system. And this is going to have someone go from follower into buyer in just a few hours, okay? Like top a day. So we don't need a funnel, except if you have a 6-hour or 24-hour funnel. But I will say the complete idea is to not even have to go into an email sequence. And this is happening every single day. Okay, every single day you are missing sales because you don't have an invisible sales system creating the rabbit hole completely bingeable, where your dream client is supported to make a decision without you. And the women you see making sales every week have not just built a funnel. Okay, remember, it's not about funnels. This is back-end sales in its purest form. Okay, back-end sales. It doesn't mean like you're going through all the steps of a funnel. What they have built, however, is a web. Okay, so sometimes I refer this as a city or as a web. And so you can imagine a web, okay, with connected assets. And when I say connected assets, what I mean for my example is that when you go into my world and you opt in into something, let's say I was giving like an opt-in for free stuff, I will probably also lead you to the podcast. Okay, so let's say you end up onto my world. I build like a first yes system. So someone who follow me can easily say yes instantly and buy from me. Okay. And so from this first yes system, I may send people toward my podcast, towards a YouTube video, towards a blog that I wrote or whatever, or one of my past workshops or masterclass, and send them in direction where they can binge. I had my podcast for a few years now, at least a couple of years, I think. And I have tons of episodes. Like I record a podcast episode every week. So I have tons of them. So they will have so much to binge. So when they're going to, if they are ready, when they come in and they start looking at my YouTube channel, they start looking at my podcast, or they start looking at different resources, they're going to get what they need. This works like a Netflix show. Okay, it's super easy to binge and it's designed for the buyer who was already ready to buy at this time. One of my clients, she turned off her funnel last month. Okay, last month she turned off her funnel because she had too many people coming in. Can you imagine? And she's not a unicorn. Okay, like this is exactly what happens when the back end of your business is actually set up to continue selling actually when you are not here. Here is what that actually requires. Okay, it requires a sales system that is not you, which means you have to design the sales system. So how do you do this? Well, you come to Build Your Invisible Sales System workshop and we do it together. Okay, we are going to map together your entire strategy to serve the person in your audience, brand new or already there, and shorten the buyer timeline, because you have people who are lingering in your world. And it's not about activating a slow buyer, it's about talking to the person who was already ready to buy. Spots are very limited because during this 2-hour workshop, we're actually going to brainstorm and mastermind together. So make sure to sign up today. If you're wondering like who this is perfect for, this is perfect for the woman who is already making sales. So you're already making sales, you already have offers, you're already creating content. And so what you want to do is actually to create content, but in an organized way where things are going to be connected and refer to each other, to build a web where someone will come in and will be able to binge the entire experience that we have designed for them without them knowing, but it's all designed for them. And so you don't have to sell your face off Instagram. This is perfect when you want to double the numbers of sales that you're making without doubling the number of posts that you're doing or launches or whatever you're doing at the moment to make sales. So come in, you can sign up with the link that is right here in the description, and you will have all of the details. This is a one-off workshop. This is not something I'm going to do again and again. So come in, because the way we are doing workshop with me is that we get shit done. So this is going to be done. At the end of the 2 hours together, you are going to have your entire invisible sales system mapped out, and you will know exactly what kind of experience your dream client in the 3% is going to have in your world to fasten her buying from you and not just going somewhere else because she didn't have what she needed to make a decision today. If you like this episode, click subscribe. There will be another episode next week. This workshop is happening on April 14th. So if you're listening to this before April 14th, You can sign up in the description if we still have some spots left. If you're listening to this after April 14th and you really want to know more about the Build Your Invisible Self system workshop, or just the system of how we do this, send me a DM on Instagram and we can have a chat. I may have this as another resource ready for you by then. Have the most amazing week, and I see you all at the workshop.